Alright, video 2 of my journey to the top 200 rankings on the leaderboard. I am currently at 2183. After this game here, I gained 10 points, putting me at 2183. So about 100 points off of around where I need to be for the leaderboard. So I played, my opponent was 2113, a respectable rating, and again, I got a weird opening. He played 1h4, and like John Bartholomew says, you just kind of play normal moves, which makes a lot of sense. Generally, if someone's playing a weird opening, they're going to know all the tricks of it more than you, because they play it, and you obviously aren't going to study it. So I'm not worried about h6, obviously, so I'm just going to continue to play normal moves. And then here, I feel like I can just take here, and then I can develop with tempo. And when he doesn't take it right back, take the pawn back, I think I'm just going to be up a pawn. I don't feel that I have to. I don't have to compromise the integrity of my position to get up the pawn, so to hang on to the pawn. So I just play c5. This kind of a weird move. I guess I could have played b6 here. B6 looks fine. A lot of things look okay. I just took it. I feel like I'm still going to be up that pawn. He'll regain on d4, but I'll still be up the pawn on b4. And so I'm totally fine with him exchanging here and letting me strengthen my center with these two pawns. So I play knight c6. So he plays g3. Okay, the idea behind this move, okay, I was thinking kind of like a few moves ahead. I was looking at something here. So the idea being is that I wanted to play queen here or like queen here because it attacks this knight, and then he would play here to protect it, and then I would come here with my bishop, and that would line everything up on this pawn. So if he took here, I could just take here. That was the point. But he could just play e3 then and defend the knight, which is why I began with bishop there. So, because now something like queen f6, bishop c5, he can't play e3 to defend the knight anymore. And then if my bishop's on c5, my queen's on f6, then it's lined up. My queen, there's a pin on his rook, my queen's there, and he can't play e3 because this bishop's pinned it. So that was the whole point behind bishop g4. And even if things don't work out, like f3 doesn't look good at kicking the bishop, and even if my whole plan with pressuring this knight and f2 doesn't work, there's still simply just stuff like developing and attacking. This bishop is in position to attack this pawn. So it's not like this is just some tricky move that I'm trying to get through here. So he plays bishop g2. I thought about queen f6. I thought about queen b6 and just decided on queen b6. I expected bishop b2, but he played bishop e3, which I thought was kind of a mistake. So bishop c5. So now I'm pressuring the knight, and he can't move it away. He can't save it with c3. Obviously, there's no e3. So I'm liking the spot now. I felt like I was winning here. Okay. All right. So here's where it gets really kind of tricky and interesting. And this is where I did most of my thinking in the game right here. So I take here. Now, I thought for a second I had mate here. I thought I had bishop takes, king takes, and then queen here. If the king comes back here, I have mate here. But the king comes here, I thought, oh, I have mate there, but I didn't even see his rook. So luckily I didn't play that without looking it over. So I had to think his king at the end of this sacrifice is going to be able to come here, and I can't checkmate him here. But I can swing my rook here, pinning his queen against his king, However, his knight's here. Now the problem with just taking his knight off the board so that I can in the future get that move is he'll just take back with the queen, and then I'll have to take, and then he can take here and get my rook. All right, so that just wouldn't work. So I had to think of a different way so that I can make this sacrifice, come here, make his king go to d1, and then bring my rook here without taking this knight. And so I ended up playing knight e7. So I figured he the move I didn't want to see was like queen here or something, because that keeps it kind of complicated. I wanted him to just think like his knight was hanging here, and now boom, he just gets to take my knight for it. So, and fortunately he did. Maybe he didn't look at it hard enough, or maybe he just thought it was a great move. So he takes here, and then my plan just goes into effect. So I come here. Obviously he can't play here. I have mate. So his only move. And then I just pin the queen. So I still have to convert this. Game is won, but I have to convert it now. Sometimes it's tricky. It's especially tricky in a faster game, but I had a decent amount of time on the clock, so. And pick up this other rook here. I gotta make sure I don't screw up anything here. But ultimately now, it's completely over. And he resigned, so. It's a good game. It's a cool little tactic, finding knight e7 so that he couldn't check me, and he didn't have control of the d8 square so that I could trap his queen at the end of my sacrifice. It was cool to find that move, and it was cool to bump up some rating points, now at 2183, which is the highest I've ever been rated, so that's really cool. So I'll keep playing games, and then I'll post them if I find a cool one. Alright, later.